Hey, welcome to 28mm RPG.
Back again. Uh, New stuff. Well, kinda new stuff. Ah, Call of Cthulhu. In case you were wondering when I was gonna finally bring this out. We'll take a look at it today. Oh, there we go. Very well made box. Top notch. Put that to the side. So we got the Keeper's Rulebook. And we have Investigator's Handbook as well. Two very good quality books. This I modified slightly. So as you can see, there is the inner sleeve here. This originally was a little flimsy. So what I did was I basically took this papery thin cover and put it onto a backing board here, which I've colored the edges so that they were black, so it fit nicely, looks good, and it's tougher, more solid, and I use it to basically cover everything and slide it back into the slipcase. So I made myself a slipcase over a slipcase in a slipcase. This comes apart. This is the thinner board that the original sleeve was made out of. So I did thicken up this guy quite a bit. So in here you get yourself a few extra books along with some keeper reference material, a nice big map which you can unfold. It's I believe this is only a single side. Yes, I'm correct. Single-sided, has your basic map of the Misatonic count. They call it country, Misatonic country, and a map of the world in multiple views here, of which they show you the Asia, Africa, the Southeast Asia, Australia area, and the Atlantic Ocean. It's kind of, well, it's got the Pacific Ocean down here in the corner, which is alright. It shows you a bit of that. And once again, up in the top corner, it's got Boston and Misatonic country, basically. This is the poster map of the Arkham. So holds out to be a large map showing little featurettes of each section here in the corners. So something you can laminate if you feel like. A photocopiable character sheets, sides, and these are with the shiny paper on them. It's funny because they have two different versions of the sheet inside the rule book. One is a modern and one is the modern and 1920s version. Some maps, of course, for the some of the material in here, and the 3 panel keepers screen here. Gives you a listing here of all the abilities and their fractioned versions of the abilities, just for your quick reference. A lot of flow charts on here as well, which is cool. So just to give you an idea of what that's all about. And on the other side, woof, we've got some spectacular ambience going on here with the screen. If you see on the little mini cam a little better what you're getting there. So cool. So once again, a short screen. I mean, short screens are okay. I'm more partial to the taller screens, like a 4-panel taller screen, but it don't matter. This booklet here of the scenarios, all black and white. Not much in there for color, which is alright. Works good enough. Easy to photocopy stuff in there and create copies of it that way as well. So let's put her all back together here. Into the case. I'll probably edit out my struggles here. Must struggles. But there again, maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep it all in there, just for you to go, he's getting, no, he doesn't quite get it. Oh, almost there. Alrighty, so that was the keeper screen and the included extras in there. We have the Investigator's Handbook. This has an extended rules on extra things that your investigators can be built upon. Show you some of the inner artwork here. And just a quickie flip through of all the cool imagery that your players will be able to have access to and enjoy. So it gives you a little spiel on the Dunwich Horror in here, which is a nice little short story. And then we get into the steps of creating investigators, some cool stuff on names, the chart on how to divide up your points real fast, quick generation, which is nice. I like those. That makes it a little easier. We've got all the backgrounds that you can pick from, which is much more than you can get in the Keeper's Rulebook. And getting into the skills, it's a fairly easy system to follow. It's not hard at all. I originally had the basic role-playing book in a PDF, which I believe I have it in a printed PDF version. It was a little hefty to get through to understand it, but when you've got a complete rule system like this, it makes that book a little bit more understandable, what they're getting, what their gist is in creating basic role playing. With this, you can go on and with basic role playing and create your own stuff in basic role playing, which you know, with a complete setting like this, it makes it more understandable. It's funny because I just went to, like, on my holidays, the only place I really went to, which was out of my area in northern Alberta, was well, it wasn't it wasn't far. Dawson Creek. I went up there and we went through the museum, and there was a lot of stuff which was 1920-ish. As Dawson was the spot where it was ground zero for the Alaska Highway. So for you Americans there, it's a point of where they started the road construction back in the old days in order to get up to Alaska before any potential threat of Soviet invasion could incur on Alaska. It was kind of like a quick route through the mountains to get arms and armor and supplies and troops, if need be, directly to Alaska. So that was the whole idea there, but there is a lot of cool stuff in the museums there. So you can kind of look back in time and imagine what it was like back in the 1920s. Of course, my grandparents lived through that age, and I've met many people that lived through those time periods in my life, and heard lots of stories. So in a sense, I can kind of relate, because my grandparents' farm had, back in the Okanagan, had all kinds of stuff that I seen in the museum. I was like, oh, if I would have known, this stuff would have been, super important later on in this era, to kind of view and take in as, interesting, almost forgotten stuff that we used to use, like the way that they heated up irons on these little portable kind of like heating stoves and stuff like that, and stuff. Just really, I got to see a lot of magazines on this kind of stuff, on the fashion and stuff, just like this. That's in Dawson as well. You probably see a lot of this stuff in old museums around your areas too. It's always good to see it for yourself, and you can kind of immerse yourself into the into this kind of gameplay, especially if it's taking place in the 1920s instead of the modern era. This is the modern era sheet. It's very green. The original 1920s version is this one here, which is in a more of a sepia beige. And all the call-outs to everybody, and all the extra ad stuff on the inside of the books there. Nice ribbon as well to keep your place. Here is the Keeper's Guide itself, and we'll open her up. Same sort of inner leaf, as well as the Investigator's Handbook. So again, we get into the same beginning as the Investigator's Handbook with the basics on creating characters. This is kind of the shortened, smaller version of that book we just looked at. And this one gets into more of the learning the game system. Optional rules and stuff. Learning how to do brawls in combat. Chases, which is an interesting mechanic, which is very abstract, but it's it's cool because a lot of this you're going to be ending up playing the Theater of the Mind anyways. But you can replicate it on a tabletop if you really wanted to. Some cool stuff on phobias and sanity rules, spells, and more stuff on dice, skill rolls. Now we get into the terrors of the mythos and stuff like that. Once again, some of the maps which you have larger versions of, which I showed you before. Some more on spells, artifacts. And we get into all the monsters, gods, all that kind of stuff. A little bestiary of different things that you will most likely encounter or hear about or interact in some way. Or die from. Or go insane by. Through there, and then they give you a few little scenarios to help you get started. Glossary, a lot of appendix stuff, more imagery on the weapons and stuff, and this is everything that you need to start your game with. So you only need this book to get yourself started. If you wanted to get into it without purchasing the slipcase version, this is all you need. This is just in case you want to really get into depth with the characters and creating more options. This is a great book for that. And of course, the bonus being the Screen Keeper's Pack with the extra scenarios in there. And other goodies that you can use, posters, all that stuff, which you can put out onto your table for the players to enjoy. So that in a nice big slipcase here, the art on both sides, and my buddy, one of my players came over from the Castles and Crusades game. I showed him a lot of my books and stuff like that. He's like, can't believe the immaculate condition of all your books, Rick. Well, I rarely do get to play a lot of stuff lately because of the COVID situation. But since we're in Alberta and we seem to be freer than most areas of the Canada, we haven't been hit up as hard with a lot of the restrictions, so all is good. Next, another slipcase. This is the Malleus Monstorum, a 2-book volume here. So we'll go through that. Once again, very nice cardboard construction. We've got volume 1 and 2. So let's start with volume 1. And do a little flip through here so you can see the art book. Basically, well, the art is what you're mainly here for. Stats. A lot of cool ideas in here with the creatures themselves. At least it gets into a little bit more detail on how to portray them in the game. A lot of various artwork, a lot more artwork on the monsters than you have in the Keeper's Guide itself. So pull out the ribbon here. A lot more background information that you will need in order to portray a lot of these creatures. Lots of interesting little side notes there as well. One on gas and wow, some pretty crazy looking artwork. A lot of body horror-ish kind of stuff as well. If you're not into that kind of if that creeps you out a little too much, then this game may not be for you. And if you try and tame it down, it really loses its flavor. So just one of those things. Yeah, there's some crazy looking full spread artwork on this. Very nice. Just regular beasts here as well, so you get a sense of scale on how to, you know, envision monsters as compared to like actual tangible living things that we have around us. And it gives you a few quick cool sheets here on creating like a way to get like smaller minion sheets in order to, you know, have them presented for yourself as a game master, so you can quickly have a little sheet on the on building your monsters themselves. I'll probably make one myself, and of course we got everybody who contributed to this this first volume here. Alrighty, so that is cool. That is volume 1. Let's get into volume 2. This gets into more of the elder gods and the old ones. So more of the more intangible things in the mythos. Things living way beyond us in space. It's quite an epic looking spread there. And there's a lot of interesting information on the cults themselves, which follow each of the gods, which is very nice to have, because this way you'll be able to understand what kind of ceremonies and stuff like that to expect from these guys, so you can really build around each entity trying to invade the Earth at the time, whatever you have planned for your players to encounter. That cult is well represented in here on the notes, and which is great, because I was really hoping for a lot of that information, because you want to know, you know, what is it that they go through in order to create a ritual in order to make that part of your investigation, and then the players can slowly uncover exactly who it is that they are dealing with by the actions of the cults, and learn those things. So yeah, some excellent artwork throughout. A lot of it very sepia in color, of course. And you know, it's going to be great to utilize a lot of this stuff for my painting, because I'm in the midst of painting all my Mansions of Madness stuff. So I want to make sure that I am full on recreating the creature's colors and everything as a, you know, as properly as possible. So that is the 2 volumes there. But wait, there's more. I'm going to put this away in here. Put this to the side. We've also got, which came in yesterday, the 4 packs of keeper cards, which will be nice to have. I love cards, especially as props in the game itself. So here we have weapons, artifacts, the Unfortunate Events deck, the Phobia deck, and the Curious Characters deck. So I'll just open up one of these so you can see the size of the cards and stuff like that, so you can understand what these decks entail. So they'll give you the how to use the deck card here, and you can read the stuff on the back of these as well. So, and of course a disclaimer with some credits on there, basically telling you that this is a work of fiction and treat it as such, because that's all it is. It's just pure fun. So we do have a lot of different characters that you can utilize actually as player characters if you wanted to. They got all their stats on one side, and it gives you a good kind of guideline to creating a lot of character tropes, what a bartender would know, what a thug would know, what a agency detective would know, as far as skills and all that stuff. And of course on the back here we have the names of them and pictures, which is great. All kinds of different portraits here, obviously taken from numerous old photos. I'm probably going to be using a lot of the using Artbreeder a lot, and if you haven't seen my video on, well, I do have a blog, and my blog has one of my videos linked on it. It's a lot on me using Artbreeder and utilizing it with you know, Traveler, as well as going to be using it with Call of Cthulhu as well, because you can create characters with stylized versions, which, you know, make them look like normal everyday characters, or, you know, futuristic characters if you want. Also, it has Artbreeder also has a way of making visuals of different areas, from the fantastic to the nonsensical, so you can really up your sci-fi imagery or alternate universe imagery by using Artbreeder and creating landscapes, which are totally yours to utilize. You don't have to, you know, use copywritten material. You can use it yourself and create your own imagery of bizarro worlds easily with Artbreeder. And I'll likely use a lot of that in order to portray the bizarreness of Call of Cthulhu, Dreamlands, and Lost Corsica and stuff like that. So that is that, and that is my basic overview of all my Call of Cthulhu stuff currently right now. So that I will be playing with my players in the near future. They seem to be very kind of interested in this kind of thing. I've thought about also utilizing a lot of this information with the strange as well, which will be easy to do because the cipher system also works really well with creating bizarro worlds like what would be done with Call of Cthulhu as well. So there we go. Thank you guys for watching this and checking it out. Hope it gives you more of an idea for what you expect if you purchase any of these items as well. Take care.